Is this a new filming location unlocked? What? Technically, no. This was the original filming location, the original alphabet reading vlog. This was originally where it was filmed. When I do like on the floor vlog clips, it's usually in that corner, but I figured out how to film with my phone from here. The old way was on a tripod with an actual camera. We don't need to talk about it. But yes, we are here, and this is the first of 3, I believe, of end of year videos. I have the second one. The second one is dependent on a poll that I also have to film today, but I was trying to sprint and the internet crashed like completely, like it's gone. It's dead. So I can't check the results of the poll. I think I know who won, so I'm gonna wait until the time that I was gonna film that, just to be case. But if the internet's still down, I'm just gonna film that version. And then the third one is, of course, gonna be 23 books I'm gonna read in 2023, right? So these are what's gonna go up for the next 3 Wednesdays. And yeah, this one was an idea by Helen that I kind of like made my own. We were talking about end of year videos, and she was like, do a video on the biggest surprises of the year, both good and bad. And so I was trying to, like, one night at like 11 p.m. I was trying to make a mental list of them all, you know, as a normal person does. And then I'm like, how would I organize it though, other than just like good and bad, just like a list? And so I decided to do, I believe, 9 genres if you count gay AF. That's how I wrote it down, as a genre, and then 2 other little side things. So 11 total, in which we kind of talk about the good and the bad surprises of each. I could have totally done sci-fi as one, because I did glimpse through my sci-fi reads on the Storygraph statistics page, is how I did most of it. And I could have done it, but like I've only read 8 sci-fi books this year, so like it didn't feel right to do it, despite the fact that I like have a clear answer. Oddly enough, the ones that had more books were the more difficult ones, so that's fun. Now, here's the thing. A lot of books in general that I read this year, were from vlogs. Hear me out. So, instead of trying to make a giant list in the description, which is going to be annoying for both you and me, it's not going to look good, and whatnot, I have decided that in the cards up above, every time I mention a book, I'll tell you what it was, why it was surprising, what I rated it, and if it was for a vlog, what vlog that was. So yeah, that is the plan. And then when I say what vlog it is, it's gonna go up above the cards, and that's the plan. So, you know, good times. Now, are we ready for me to start? The first 2 categories are fantasy, YA fantasy and adult fantasy. I've read a lot of new adult fantasy this year, and I've kind of just like low-key shoehorned that into the adult fantasy section, but kind of only for the bad one, because for the good side, it is adult fantasy. And like adult fantasy, the only other ones I've read are the Brandon Sandersons, and I wasn't really surprised by them. Oh my god, is that a dog we hear? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna start with the YA fantasy. I have my iPad down here if you can't tell, to look at the list that I wrote down. So for YA fantasy was Stolen Songbird. Yes, I'm putting up the cover that I much rather prefer, because I read it for the green monochromatic reading vlog, and there's this one cover that's like more green, and that's what I used for like the vlog and whatnot. But for the wrap up and everything else, I used this cover because I like it more. I've read this like a few months ago, and it's still on my mind. Like, I think I'm gonna finally continue the series in January, because hear me out. Also, the cover for the second one, even better than the first one. Hear me out. But basically, I don't know what I was expecting when I went to read it. I just was expecting a dumb YA fantasy where she falls in love with a troll and all this stuff, which, like, yeah, it kind of was, but also, like, hear me out, I had the time of my life. Like, I only rated it 4 stars. I just promptly remembered to turn off my fridge, and by that I mean I turned on and I went to do that. But anyways, Stolen Songbird, I gave it 4 stars when I read it. It's, like, up there. Like, I don't know what it was missing, but if it just had a little extra oomph, it could have been a favorite of the year. Like, hear me out. Like, I think at one point for that month, I thought for the longest time it was gonna be the favorite of the month, and then something else happened. I don't know what. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But yeah, Stolen Songbird is a good time. I'm gonna take this little moment to say that while most of the ones for the good side are 4 stars and above, a lot of the bad ones are like 3 stars or 2.5 stars, which, like, says that, at least especially on the bad side of this, the star rating doesn't really mean much. It just means I was expecting so much more, and then something happened, and what? That's generally what it means. But for the bad side of a YA fantasy, we got this selection by Kiera Cass. Hear me out. Hear me out. So I read that one in the blue monochromatic green vlog. I think it may have been the writing style, hear me out. I don't know, because I had previously read a Kiera Cass, and a lot of the ratings for that book and reviews talked about how the writing style was a bit too childish. But I was like, yeah, sure, but, like, also she's like a mermaid from the ocean who doesn't really interact with people, so, like, kind of makes sense. Okay, whatever, I'm down. And I rated that one 4 stars, so I went into the selection knowing that some people really don't like it, but, like, also knowing that I liked that Kiera Cass and I could enjoy it. Like, I was expecting to enjoy it. And then I promptly DNF'd it. Okay, like, we don't need to talk about it. We don't even need to talk about the fact that over here in my unhaul piles, I have what short stories are these? The Prince and the Guard. Here, I'll put on this side because I know I'm going to put the ebook covers on the other side. But I got this at a thrift store for like 25 cents. That has 2 of the short stories from the series. I think it's like one of the first ones and then like one of the later ones. I don't know. When I like looked at it, I thought it was very confusing that like there's like 4 important short stories or something like that, and there were 2 in the beginning and 2 like halfway through, and this is like one in the beginning and one of the halfway through ones. I don't know. Don't question it. I don't know. But I bought this like 2 years ago, expecting to have enjoyed this selection when I finally got my hands on it and finally read it. And then no. So now this is on an unhaul pile because why would I read it? Why? There's like absolutely no reason for me to read it now. So that's fun. On the other side of fantasy, we got adult fantasy. I think I rated this one 4.5 stars. This is in multiple videos, but the most important one is reading Dion's favorites. I basically read all this in one day. Hear me out. I think I had read like 16 pages prior, and then I read the rest of it. And it's pretty chunky. 1, the audiobook. Top tier. 2, the comedy, was not expecting it. 3, this is just the adventure book I wanted. Okay? Like, this is great. This proves that I can enjoy an adult high fantasy and have a good time. Because, if I remember properly, it was a 4.5 and not a 5 just because the end boss battle stuff was a little iffy for me. But I have an issue with the end boss battles in general in books. But, yeah, this is great. I love that Dion bought it for me. Also, I love how I'm a character in this, apparently. Basically, one of the members of the band's daughter's name is Rose. There's, like, one of the chapters is titled Rose. They talk about Rose all the time. The next book in the series is about that child and her band of mercenaries. called Bloody Rose. So, you know, we love that. And yeah. I will forever love Dion for buying me this book, because I don't know what I was expecting, but this went above and beyond everything I wanted, and it was a great time, okay? And then on the bad side, hear me out, was Estrange Him, by Laura Thalassa. This is the second book in the Bargainer series. I had reread the first one, Rhapsodic, in a different vlog, just so I could try to read Estrange Him from the DNF's vlog, where I give DNFs a second try and whatnot. And I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, I believe. Now, hear me out. The first book of the series, I rated 4 stars. And then, Laura Thalassa is the author. Here, let me just move the other books out of the way. We don't need those bad boys. We just need these bad boys. And when I say bad, I mean bad boys. Because, like... But, Laura Thalassa is the author of one of my favorite fantasy romance series. The series that got me into fantasy romance. The Four Horsemen series. I will stand by this series forever. I especially love the first and the last one. And death is just a fun time. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. So, like, hear me out. I love all these books by her. I really enjoyed the first book in the series. I don't know what happened in the second one that, like, it went so off the rails, and I had zero cares about anything because it was so weird. It was less of a romance and more of a fantasy mystery. Like, a good chunk of the first book was the mystery aspect with fantasy in it. But, like, it was, like, almost a 50-50 split between that and the romance. In the second one, there was barely any romance, and I already knew they were together, so, like, does it matter? And I assume they're endgame, and yeah. Also, it's just, like, overtly dark for no reason, out of the blue, every once in a while, and it wasn't a good time. And kind of just disappointing. Okay, hear me out. Next up is romance. I read a lot of romance. I think the romance and the two fantasy sections were the hardest to figure out what to do, what to choose. Because I was between two for the romance. A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare and Twice Shy. But I went with A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare. I rated it 5 stars. I know this by heart. It's like one of my top favorite books of the year. It is so good. Okay, hear me out. Like, the rest of the series does not even reach anywhere close to the same level that A Week to Be Wicked is at. Okay, like, hear me out. Like, I'm pretty sure I have the first book in the series. Also at 5 stars, but, like, I know in my heart of hearts it's probably like a 4.5, and A Week to Be Wicked is 5, and it is the best book in the series. I want to reread it all the time. It is so good. Like, I really liked the first book when I read it at the end of 2021. Yeah, that's the right year. What? I really liked it. And the novella in between the first and second book was pretty good. I decided I really liked Tessa Dare's writing style. Her comedy when she puts it in her romance books is really good. I like her banter. And then A Week to Be Wicked happened, and it's like a whole new level. Like, there should be a whole new level, and like A Week to Be Wicked and Legendborn and I don't know what else should be on that level. Like, hear me out. It was so good. So good. Also, I have a new bi pun that I will use whenever I can, except I never get the chance to use it. That has to do with math. Hear me out. They were intimately sexually flirting using math puns and math terms. I love them. I love them so much, and no one can tell me otherwise. And yeah, we don't need to talk about it. On the other end of the scale, for the bad, which was in the alphabet reading vlog. We don't need to talk about that vlog ever, please, dear God. I am sorry, Dion. It is Dion Honeymooners. Now, hear me out. For like 90% of the book, I really, really, really enjoyed it. Like it was giving me almost 4 stars. 3.5, 4 stars. Like I was having a good time. I was feeling it. I was feeling the romance. It took a bit for me to get into it, but I was having a good time. And then the whole entire plot twist with like her twin sister's brother is cheating on her, and no one believes her, including the boyfriend who she's with, who is the brother of that guy, and like how he hit on her and her boyfriend didn't believe her, like no one believing her, all this stuff happening, and then it ended up all happy at the end, like and I'm just like, hear me out. She's a better person than me, because like I'd probably stab them. I probably wouldn't actually. I'm too much of a sad person. I would probably just be in a hole crying in actuality, and it made me visibly angry and anxious, and I hated it. I understand that Dion loves it because she loves the chaos. I enjoy chaos in books, not that chaos. Apparently people not believing other people, that kind of stuff, kind of like one of my biggest pet peeves. So I really did not like it. And it was really let down for like the last like maybe 50, 100 pages, like I don't know. But yeah, I rated that one 2 stars, and that was the time. I forgot that I had even read that one this year because I like blocked it out of my brain. Okay, hear me out. And we don't need to talk about it. Now, for the favorite category, voted by me, is the gay AF category. Now I don't know how I forgot about Girl Serpent Thorn. I clearly messaged H with a voice memo that just said, I forgot about Girl Serpent Thorn when I went to start to make this list. It was just, I forgot about Girl Serpent Thorn. But like, hear me out. H recommended it to me when I originally told H that I was planning to do a Pride Month reading vlog. This is the vlog I read it in, right? And she told me that it has bi representation. I was like, cool, hell yeah, I'll throw it in. But I had seen that it had lower ratings on Goodreads. I was not really expecting anything from it, really. And then I read it. I'm pretty sure, I think it was tied for like favorite book in that video. And the other book in that video that I really loved, like they were tied for favorite book of the month. And I just let Girl Serpent Thorn win for H because I love H, and she told me to choose Girl Serpent Thorn, so I did. And I don't know what to say about it. It was 4.5 stars. It was a great time. I was really not expecting a lot of it. I'm pretty sure I cried, if I remember properly. Like, you know, hear me out. It was a good time. Now, on the other side, it's not a surprise that the other one I also read in June because I read a lot of gay books in June. I read a lot of gay books in general, but I read a lot of gay books in June because I tried to read mostly gay books in June. Makes sense. And so I read Orlando by Virginia Woolf. And I rated 3 stars. Like, it didn't impact me the way I'd heard. Like, I heard about it, and I know that people really enjoyed it, and that they really loved the representation, the gayness, all this fun stuff, and I was like, cool, listen to it. I think I was playing the Hannah Montana game on my DS on Sprints, and it was just meh. I rated it 3 stars. It wasn't like a big thing. I was just like, whatever, and kind of just disappointing, but like not disappointing enough to be like a really bad book. It just, I was expecting so much more from it, and it wasn't there. Now we got the nonfiction. Now, if you don't know, part of my goals for 2022 was to read 12 classics, which is like a normal thing for me that I do every year, but also 12 nonfiction books. I am still struggling to reach that. We don't need to talk about it. There were 2 nonfiction books that I really, really enjoyed. I think I rated both on 5 stars. But the one that really surprised me was My Body by Emily. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name because I know I can't. I almost got the physical book to annotate it, because like I loved this so much, but I think listening to the audiobook, because she reads it herself, and I think listening to her tell the stories herself is more impactful. So I decided not to buy it physically, but for the moment at least. But like, I didn't even know who she was before I picked it up. I just needed a nonfiction book. It was pretty short, and it was available at my library. Like, that was it. I wasn't expecting anything. Bitch, I cried. Like, what? What? It was so good. I think it became the favorite of the month as well. Like, it was the only nonfiction that was a favorite of a month. Like, make it make sense. I don't understand. I don't understand. But I loved it. And I don't think we need to talk anymore about it. But, like, yeah, it was it, fam. It was great. And then on the other side was Helter Skelter, which I rated 2.5 stars. I feel like I should lower it. I feel like I should. I'm pretty sure in the month that I read it for the wrap up, there's like 10 minutes of me just talking about this book. I know my Goodreads review is like multiple paragraphs. I know I still have the sticky notes in my wrap up journal of all my notes that I wrote down. I'm still so angry. Like, I have so many issues. And the main issue is that a lot of people really, really, really love this book. Like, it's like apparently one of the most famous true crime books ever. And I really did not like it. Hear me out. Which, like, I was not expecting, because I do like true crime, okay? I am a white female. I like true crime. And I read it in a book club, and we were talking about it, and apparently a lot of us did not like it, actually. So, it wasn't only me, and I'm just sad and mad, okay? That's all we need to talk about it. And then on the other end, of course, is the classics. For good, we got Jane Eyre. This was one for the Dion reading vlog. Again, hear me out. Hear me out. I think I read all this one in one day too. I think I was like, I can read this in 2 days easily. And then I just sat there and read it in one day. Who am I? Who am I? I'm trying to decide if this is my favorite classic ever or not. Like, I'm gonna have to reread Pride and Prejudice in 2023. Because that is like currently labeled as my favorite classic. It's the classic that got me into classics, right? And then I read Jane Eyre. And currently, it is a 4.5 on Goodreads. And Pride and Prejudice is a 4. Please make it make sense. I was expecting to enjoy this. Like, I was expecting a 4-star grade A journey. Kind of like Sense and Sensibility. You know, definitely not the same story. For sure. But, yeah, no, this was great. Also, I think it's great because now whenever Dion makes references to it, I understand. I understand now whenever Dion's like, whenever he says, do you find me attractive? And then Jane Eyre's just like, nah, ma'am. Like, why is it so funny? Okay. But yeah, this was some good soup and I loved it. Way more than I expected. And yeah, it was really a surprise I did. And then on the bad side, of course, oh god, The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare. Can you tell? I feel like I should bring that one down to a 2 at least, but it's currently at 2.5. I read it in the Yellow Monochromatic reading vlog. It is labeled as a comedy. Nah, fam, this is a book about emotional and physical abuse that these men do on their wives and then, like, laugh about it. And you're also supposed to laugh about it, but hear me out. Starving your wife and gaslighting your wife, not funny. That's kind of like the whole entire book, is, like, these guys gaslighting all these women. And the father just being like, cool. And then, like, then they abuse them. Like, one of them abuses his wife, who is the shrew, and it's called taming her. Like, he forces her not to sleep or not to eat and all that fun stuff, which hear me out, counts as abuse. On top of the emotional abuse that he gives her. And then because of that, she becomes meek and cute and all that stuff. And so then the guys who marry her sisters, who are the beautiful ones that everyone's been trying to marry this whole time, it's like, oh my god, how did you do that? And he teaches them as the father is like right there. And it's supposed to be this funny, humorous book, and like it's labeled as a comedy, and I'm so mad. Okay? Like, I was expecting a good time. I generally enjoy Shakespeare's. I think this is the lowest rated one. I swear, if I have Romeo and Juliet labeled lower than this, or Hamlet, I will go quit life and change it. Because, as soon as I get internet back. Because, like, this is the worst one, by far. I've read a good chunk of Shakespeare's, especially in the past 2 years. This is by far the worst one. And it's, like, sad because, like, the writing style in general, I enjoyed. And whatnot. But it was just the story itself and the characters. I hated every second of it. And yeah. Do we need to say any more? Okay? For historical fiction, hear me out. I'm surprised historical fiction gets its own section because I don't think I read many historical books. But then it labels every historical romance as historical on Storygraph and puts it in there. And I do read a lot of historical romance. So I tried to choose ones that weren't romance books. And I did. The first one was The Book Thief from Returning DNF's vlog. Again, 4.5 stars. It was almost my favorite of the month. I cried a lot. Like, a lot. Like, I was talking to Bestie's boyfriend, who really loves that book. It's like one of his favorite books ever. We were talking about it, and yeah, we cried at the same points. I remembered a little bit about it, but not much, and I hurt. My insides hurt. My heart hurts. It was so good. Like, fam, I don't have any words really to say how much I love this book. So, like, just know that I really loved it, and I was expecting it to be, like, a 3.5, maybe a 4. And here we are. And then on the other end, one of the first books I read this year, and I think the lowest rated, other than DNF's, of the whole entire year, is, Where the Crawdads Sing. Yeah, I heard that they were making a movie, a show, whatever it was, and so, and there was an audiobook. It was available in my library. I picked it up. I think it took me like a whole entire month to read. I rated it 1.5 stars. No. Just no. I have a whole entire review where I put into words why I dislike this book so much. It's on Goodreads, but I was expecting to love it. Not only because Goodreads people love it, but, hear me out. When I was in college, in writing classes, all of my peers were like, Where the Crawdads Sing is one of the greatest books ever. You should read it. It's like the greatest thing ever. So I finally decided to pick it up because I hear that it's being adapted soon. I will never trust any of these people on their taste ever again, because what I guess I can see where someone could like it, but I think it's based off of expectations. If I remember how my review went properly, I can't even look it up to check, but I think how my review went was something about how expectations versus reality, and but what I expected was not what this book was. It was something else. So yeah, and we don't even need to talk about the author in general and all this stuff with her. Like, hear me out. So yay. Don't worry, we're getting to our last 4 topics. Mystery / thriller. So this is a fun one because, and hear me out, I'm pretty sure I disliked almost every single mystery thriller I read. I think there were like a total of 2 that I enjoyed. And I almost made it the other one, but it was kind of like what I expected. It was only one that like I enjoyed though, until I remembered Sweet Pea by CJ Scoose. I knew nothing. I knew nothing except that like female serial killer. That's it. That's all I knew. Dude, that book was great. It came out of left field. It was great. I did originally put the sequel on my TBR, but based off of people, because I read it in a book club, everyone else really enjoyed it, and those who enjoyed it and picked up the sequel say the sequel nowhere near as good. The first book was just great, and you should just leave it at that. So I think I've removed it from my TBR officially. But yeah, it was a good time. It is a female serial killer, but also like it's so wonky. The comedy is so my style. I gave it 4 stars. I loved it. And I don't know what to say other than, yeah, it was a good time. And then on the other end, this was the hard part for this section because I had so many to choose from. Because I disliked so many mystery thrillers this year. Hear me out. But the one I chose was The Last Time I Lied, from the Blue Monochromatic Reading Vlog yet again, by Riley Sager. I believe I rated it 2.5 stars. I don't know what to say, because I have previously read Riley Sager. I had read Home Before Dark, which is somewhere in the bottom shelf of this bookshelf, right? And I really liked it. It was 4 stars for me. It was a good time. Currently reading another one. I'm also enjoying that one. Hear me out. And I'm having a good time. The Last Time I Lied gave me unreliable narrator, but like everyone just thinks she's a crazy woman, so like she can't do anything. But also like overtly talks about the sex lives of like teenage girls, written by a middle-aged white man. No. The mystery, I was like, whatever about. And everyone thinking she's crazy, just because she went through this traumatic experience like 10 years earlier. And like, yeah, it affected her, but she's like fine now, but they're like, you're crazy. So we can't trust anything you say. And so we're gonna illegally put up video cameras to watch everything you do, without your consent, like to your bedroom, to make sure that you're okay. And then it's like, she's like, okay. Yeah, it was not good. I should have DNF'd it. I totally should have. But like, it was really fast read, so I continued it, and this is what happened. And yeah, I was just disappointed. Surprised and disappointed. Now, on the horror side, we can all thank H for To Be Devoured. Pigs Happen. I was trying to decide which one to put here because I don't think I have any books from the horror section that are rated above 4 stars. So I was looking through all these 4-star rated books. I was like, which one surprised me the most? And it was definitely To Be Devoured. I had not heard of it before H mentioned it to me. It is really, really, really short. It is gay. And like, it's surprising. What she does is surprising. It is gross. The way that body horror is kind of what I wanted the body horror to be in the other one, in the bad one. Hear me out. But yeah, To Be Devoured, I rated 4 stars. We can all thank H for it. If you think you can handle it, because it is gross. Like, it is gross at points. But if you think you can handle it, I recommend. Yeah. You know, we love that. Now on the bad side, we got The Troop, by Nick Cutter, I believe. I rated it 3 stars, and I had such high hopes, okay? I had heard about it years ago, and I was like, this is my book. A bunch of young teen boys basically lost in the woods, or stranded somewheres. There's some weird disease that's going around, that's affecting all of them, and they're basically being quarantined to this area as they're killing each other off. And I heard that there was a lot of body horror. One, the body horror didn't do it for me. I was like, whatever. I think it's because the way it was described, I could not picture it. Like, I think at one point it talked about like something ballooning and expanding, and I was like, what? I just pictured his stomach being a hot air balloon. Like, I don't know. Two, this is just Lord of the Flies horror version. Like Lord of the Flies should have been. Hear me out. And I don't like the original. Why would I want the remake? Hear me out. The only part I really liked was like the mixed media aspect when I bring in interviews from scientists after the math, or officers after the math, or logs from the scientists that were doing the experiments that caused the disease after the math, news reports from after the math, all that stuff I enjoyed. Everything else was not a fan. It was not a good time. I was really excited to get it, my hands on it. I was so happy. And then that happened. And yeah, no, it's just a disappointment. I was expecting so much from it. And to be surprised that it was just meh. Also the fact that like every booktuber I've heard talk about it was like the body horror. Oh my god. And then no. Now that's it for like the normal genre stuff. Now we get to go into the two little ones that I added. First one being rereads. I reread a lot of books this year, and on the good side we have Percy Jackson in general. I've been rereading the Percy Jackson series slowly, kind of with H and H's best friend, but kind of like not. Like they're doing a buddy read of it, and I've kind of just shoehorned myself into it. Like I'm only one book behind, but I have reread the first three, and I'm going to finish the whole entire first series this month before the end of the year. Like, hear me out. But I think I've upped the rating of every single one in my reread. So like, hear me out. I've been having a good time. Like, I should be surprised by how much I enjoy it, but like I enjoy it so much more than I remember. I think part of it is because I in general know more about Greek mythology than I did back in middle school when I originally read these. Like Ariadne was brought up, and I have read Ariadne the book by, what was it, Jennifer Saint? The pile's on the turned around, so the spines are on the other side. I can't see it, but I'm pretty sure that's who it is. So like I know the stories, okay? I know the stories now. At least a lot more than I used to. So like with that information mixed with that, I think of it I just enjoy it so much more, and I don't know why really, but it's a thing. And then on the other end, which is, I think I mentioned every single book from the DNF vlog now, but that's fine. This is The Space Between. I am counting it as a reread, even though I DNF'd it again, because this was drier than a saltine cracker. That's what I said. Yeah, no, this was not it, fam. This was not a good time. Okay, I didn't have a good time, and that's fine. But I really expected like to enjoy it. Like a demon girl, a half demon girl from the pits of hell goes to Earth to find her missing older brother. And the only person that can help her is the human that he helped cross back onto Earth, and she has to get his help to find her brother. But like there's angels and archangels and stuff, that like a bunch of evil things that she runs into, and it's a dangerous experience for her. Nah, this was boring. And also anytime that like something did happen, the reactions were not it, fam. So yeah, no. And that's that. And then for the last one, is books recommended to me by friends. Hear me out. I did two vlogs where I read books my friends recommended to me. Then also we've talked about how H recommends me books all the time, like To Be Devoured, Girl Serpent Thorn. I think H recommended another book for the Pride Month reading vlog, and I ended up putting it in the H reading vlog where I read H's favorites. Okay, hear me out. Now, I knew for a while that one of H's favorite series is Mara Dyer. Okay, I knew this. I hesitantly went into the unbecoming of Mara Dyer, knowing that H loves it, and also knowing that I wasn't sure if it's gonna be my type of book, especially since it's more character-based, and I'm not as much into character-based books, while H is, okay? I go into it. It's slow to start, but then I start noticing things, and then I start connecting dots. And then things happen, and somehow it became my favorite of the month of September. I mean, each month. And like, what? It did beat out Book Thief, but only because of H's request. They had the same exact rating, so I just accepted H's request to make The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer the winner of September. But yeah, no, it was some good soup. I was not expecting it. I do have to continue the series, hear me out, almost every day. I feel like anytime H messages me, there's a 50% chance H throws in, by the way, continue Mara Dyer. I know H is currently doing a reread of Mara Dyer. It is a good time. I mean, it's not, because it's very depressing and sad, and oh my god. But like, yeah. It was it. It was it. Yeah, I get it. And then hilariously in the same vlog, we have House of Salt and Sorrows, okay? Which I rated 3 stars. I had 2 books that I could do that were both rated 3 stars. But hear me out. I was so excited for House of Salt and Sorrows. I recognize that H is very upset that I did not like this as much as she did. I rated it 3 stars. It was a good time. I guess, whatever. It was very slow. I, when looking into this book, knew that it had ghosts, and I was freaking ready. I love ghosts in books, okay? Just ask Ghosty Gal. She's in that attic, so, we do not need to talk about how I just whacked my fake nail against this. But she's in this attic, and apparently she's also H. But yeah, Ghosty Gal, I like ghosts. I like ghosts in my book. I like books that have to deal with grief and death. I thought this book was gonna be for me. It was not. It was too slow, it was too character-based, and also the ending was very disappointing. Like, hear me out. When you kill off a character, let them stay dead. Let them stay dead. And it was kind of just like such a letdown, and I was so surprised because I was expecting to love it based on the synopsis. Despite the fact that I'm pretty sure it also has lower ratings on Goodreads. But yeah, that's it. For this video, hear me out. It is 45 minutes long, currently, pre-editing, but with 22 books talked about, that's about 2 minutes per book. That's not that bad. We didn't do too bad. Hear me out. Let's see if my internet will ever let me upload it. You know, good times. I'm gonna go put these books back, and I'm gonna do the outro really fast because I just saw the mailman go up. What time is it? Oh, I have to walk the dog. Anyways, yes, this was a fun time. The next video itself that should go up, I believe, will be either the red one or the holiday one. I don't know, fam. The whole entire schedule got messed up in my brain. I don't know what's happening. But there's also gonna be 2 other of these types of videos, so like, stay tuned for all of that. Linked below is all my social media, including Goodreads, Storygraph, and Instagram. I do reviews on all of them. I haven't done reviews in any of December because I just don't feel like it. Hear me out. Just trying to read is hard enough, as well as film and edit all these videos. But I do reviews. I also do favorites of the month on Instagram, and also on my stories I do little like star rating and sometimes 1-sentence reviews of books I'm reading for vlogs if you want to stay tuned for that, and if you want like behind the scenes stuff for that. And also I post pictures of my dog occasionally. But yeah, that's everything. Like and subscribe, and thank you for coming. The mailman's coming back, so bye!